What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So today is episode 118, and today we're going to go over using margin accounts versus cash accounts, and we're going to look at which one you could potentially make a lot more money with. All right. So this video, we're just going to look at some of the pros and the cons of the margin accounts, as well as the pros and cons of the cash accounts. Some of the things that we're going to go over here, we're going to look at the differences, obviously, between the cash and margin. We're going to look at the fact that I do use both, but also how I use both account types. And then we're also going to take a look at what level you should be using margin accounts at, right? And then we're also going to look at which account is more sustainable in the long term. So if this is something that interests you, then you want to stick around for this video. So let's get into this video. All right, so it says here on the screen, margin versus cash account. Which one can make you more money? All right, so margin accounts, here are the pros. We have more working capital. All right, so with a margin account, whatever your account value is, as long as it's over $2,000 in Robinhood, they'll give you margin. I don't exactly know the exact criteria for how much margin you get, but I've seen anywhere from 3x to like 6x on margins. Maybe it's a credit thing. I don't know. You do have larger profits, obviously, because you are magnifying your gains simply because you're magnifying your working capital. All right. So let's say you're scalping at 10% and you have $3,000. Your profit is now 300. If you are scalping at 30,000, your 10% is now $3,000. So you can make a lot more profit using margin. Also with margin, you have the benefit of same day settlement. All right. So when you buy an option, if you sell it the same day, the funds are available the same exact day for trading. The other benefit of a margin account is you have level 3 options. So what are level 3 options? These are options where you could pretty much stack different types of options. You have things like, the iron condors, put debit spread, things like that. It's a little bit more complicated than your standard, buy a call, buy a put. And that's something, I'll be honest with you, I'm not too versatile on. But if you guys want, I could do a video on that. So just leave a comment in the comment section below. Here are some of the cons of a margin account. Now, you're limited to 3 days per week. And what that means is with a margin account, if your overall portfolio value is less than $25,000, they're going to limit you to a maximum of 3 day trades per week. So the stock week is Monday to Friday, so that's 5 days. So out of those 5 days, every 5 days, it refreshes, but you're going to be limited to 3. If you do 4, your account's going to get locked. And at one point, they were giving you like an opportunity to, like a one-time opportunity to open up again, or use a margin again. If you now, that's no longer available. So if you do 4 trades, you're going to be permanently locked out of level 3 options as well as a margin account. So you're strictly going to be restricted to only using a cash account with Robinhood. If you want to check how many day trades you have with a margin account and your balance is obviously below $25,000, on Robinhood in the app or on the website, you would go up to the top where it says account. So those little bars, right? Usually it's the top right hand side. Click on that where it says account and then click invest in and scroll all the way to the bottom. When you scroll down to the bottom, it will tell you, hey, you have 1 of 3 day trades left or 2 of 3. If it says 3 of 3, you don't have any more day trades. So sit this one out. All right. Magnified losses and debt. All right. So obviously, if you're leveraging your cash, you're multiplying your cash to make gains, but you lose, your losses are also going to be magnified. Then you're going to be in debt to Robinhood. You're going to be paying interest. So you got to be aware of that as well. All right. Limited risk management. So risk management is limited, meaning With a cash account, you can buy 10 options, right? You could sell five if you want to lock in profits initially and leave five more to run, then you could sell one more, two more, whatever. You just, keep letting them run and sell as it goes up, up, up. With a margin account, you won't have that flexibility. You have only 3 day trades that you could do. So risk management to me is going to be limited with a margin account. All right. It's also not scalp friendly, which is what I just talked about. You can't really leave runners. You can't do too many trades because you're only limited to 3. All right. And as I told you guys before, it says your account size limits. If you have $25,000 or less as your total overall value, then you're going to be limited to 3 trades every 5 days. If your account value is well over the 25,000 or over 25,000, then you won't have that limitation. But as you can see, there are the cons, primarily magnifying losses and debt. So let's look at the cash account. Here are the pros. We have 0 debt. All right. You're working with COH, cash on hand. You're using your own money. For the people that I mentor, my mentees, I usually tell them start out with a cash account, build up your cash account, build up your cash reserve by cutting corners. I have this little thing where I always say, in terms of spending, if you buy, for every for every liability that you buy, try to buy at least 2 assets. So for example, if you buy, I don't know, a pair of sneakers for $100, then I would try to buy 2 stocks for at least $100 a piece, just to give you an example. You can also use that same concept to cut corners and save money. So let's say you're a sneakerhead. I don't know, you go to the store and you buy 3 pairs of sneakers. Cut back. Buy only 2. Take the money that you would spend on that one sneaker, put it to the side. Once you build up your cash reserve to say like 500 or 1,000, whatever you want, you could start to do your trades with a cash account. All right. But with a cash account, you're using your own money. You're not using anybody's money. So that to me is a benefit because you're avoiding debt or running into any kind of problems. All right. Unlimited day trades with a cash account. So with a cash account, you have no limits. If you only have $200 in your cash account, you could do 10 day trades at $20 a piece all day long. All right. So there's no limits. So to me, that's a huge plus. It is also scalp friendly. Using the previous example with the margins, if you have 10 options, you sell 5 to lock in profits, and the stock price is still moving up. Obviously, if you have calls, the stock price is still moving up. You could sell one now, sell another one later, sell another one. You could go and sell the other 5 options incrementally at different times throughout the day, locking in huge profits. All right. I've seen that. I've seen where people leave those runners and they just make a bunch of money, which goes to the next point. You could use runners. You have more flexibility because you're not limited to just 3 trades for the week. So you could leave runners. You could leave those 5 options to just run throughout the day and scalp as it goes, just taking profits. And a lot of times I've seen where the runners end up 3x in the initial amount that you sold just to lock in profit. So that's another huge benefit with cash accounts. Easier to do ODTE options. So ODT options, 0 days or 1 day to expire options, they're easier to trade. These are options that you have to trade the same day. With a cash account, you won't have any issues. You could buy 20 of them and start scaling out. With a margin account, you won't have that. You have a limit of 3 days if you're under 25K. And let's face it, I think the majority of the population is going to be under 25K. So huge benefit there in terms of ODTE options. And I also cover that in my videos, like around, I would say like around episode 70 something, 70s, from 70 all the way up to, I would say, probably like about episode 78. I did a bunch of those scalping ODT, um, just scalping videos for the day, showing you how to use runners, things like that. All right. And obviously the other pro is it's easier risk management. You're not limited to a certain amount of trades, so it's easier for you to manage your risk. I'm going to give you an example. Let's say I identify an option that's, looks like it's going to run. It starts to run. I buy that option. I could just buy one. All right. Because I have unlimited trades. So I could buy one now, and then, you know, when it starts to move, I could jump back in and buy 9 more, right? And then I could start to sell throughout the day. That's a lot of trading. With a margin account, you won't be able to do that. All right. So here are some of the cons. The first con is you're limited to cash on hand. You know, how you work around that? Better money management. Start saving more. Start putting more towards your cash. A lot of people automate their bills. Automate your savings too, Poppy. You know what I'm saying? Take that money that you're making per week, take a certain amount, whatever it is that you're able to save or put into your cash balance, and start to transfer actively. Set it up on auto pay so it automatically comes out your bank account. All right. So grow your cash account, and obviously you're going to get to that level where you're going to get better. You're going to have a larger working capital, and larger working capital equals larger profits. All right. 1 day settlement. So now what this means is, let's say you have $1,000 in your account, right? Let's say you buy 5 options at $100 a pop. You will only have $500 left for the day. Even if you sell those $500 worth of options at 100%. So now you have $1,000. You made 1,000, right? Or you made 500 on your 500. Now you have 1,000. You still only have $500 left for the day, because that $1,000 that you got when you sold, right? That money is not going to settle until the next day. With a margin account, the money settles the same day, immediately. It's available. So that's another limitation with cash accounts. But if you know that, then you work with the limitations. All right. Now, the last one here is no level 3 options. So you won't have access to any kind of put debit spreads or iron condors and all this other stuff. If you're into that type of stuff, then a cash account is definitely not for you. All right. So now I want to show you guys just 2 articles that, I think will be of interest to you guys if you want to just read and get more information on the topic. All right, so the first one here is by SoFi, and it says margin account, what it is and how it works. And if we go ahead and scroll down here, right, this was in March 18 of 2024. It goes over some of the key points, tells you what a margin account is, margin account rules and regulations, examples of a margin account, etc., etc. So I'll go ahead and list this in the description so you guys can read this on your own time. I won't try to waste your time and just go over information that I could just simply link. The other article I wanted to show you guys is Robinhood Margin Worth It? An Honest Guide. All right, so this is a breakdown by the author, who is just giving you their take on margin accounts on Robinhood. The site's kind of spammy, a bunch of ads popping up, but hey, it's free information. I'll go ahead and also list this for you guys so you guys can just take a look at this article, but it goes through real detail and just shows you exactly what margin is on Robinhood and how it's used and what are the benefits, etc., etc. So I won't go too deep into that. Now I want to go over just some of the key pointers in terms of myself and how I use these accounts. So obviously we went over the differences between the two, the pros and the cons. All right. Now for me, I use both, and I'll tell you guys how I use both. So I primarily use a cash account because I day trade a lot and you have more flexibility in terms of the amount of trades. I will, however, use a margin account, right? And you're able to switch between both. effortlessly. There's unlimited switching. Just, it creates like a delay. So for example, if today's Monday, right, and I'm on a cash account and I switch to margin account today, I probably won't get the full margin cash value until the following day, which is Tuesday. Just bear that in mind. But when you switch it back, it goes back immediately. So I'll use margin. Let's say I have a super A plus setup, right? I have a call that I see that I'm locked in on. I checked everything. My levels are mapped out. I charted out everything. It looks good. We have news. The stock has momentum. I'll switch to margin, hop on it just to leverage more cash, right? Make my profit and get out and go right back to my cash account. So that's primarily how I use margin. All right. So I do use both, but I would say 90% of the time I'm inside my cash account. I rarely touch margin. All right. Just because of the fact, like I said, it's more risky. The next point I want to talk about is what level or who should use margin. The people that I mentor, my mentees, I tell them, I don't care how much cash you have in your account or what your account value is. Start out with a cash account. You should be using cash accounts because they give you more flexibility. You have way more trades that you could execute, and you have better risk management. Margin should be used, to be honest with you, when you're at a certain level in terms of expertise. If you're just starting out, you shouldn't be touching a margin account. For my mentees, depending, obviously it's not a one size fits all scenario, but I'll have people ask me, hey, can I do this? No, I don't think you should. You could do whatever you want to do, but I don't think you should based on the skill level where you're at. So I'm at a certain skill level. Obviously, if you're listening to me, my skill level is probably higher than yours, you know. So, and I only use margin, like I said, probably 10% of the time. All right. I primarily use cash. So margin should be used by people with a higher skill level. And even then, it's not something that you should use a lot. Even I would say even some of the top players in proprietary firms, right? They don't really use margin. They use cash just because of the flexibility. All right. So again, margin, I think you should leave it alone until you become really advanced, a year or two into trading, depending on how fast you learn. But that's where I think you should be at. All right. Now, which one of the accounts is more sustainable? For me, hands down, I would say cash. And here's why. With cash accounts, I take less risk per trade because I'm using my money. I take a smaller percentage. I scalp at probably a max of 10%, right? Unless obviously it just runs up, the asset just runs up really crazy. And sometimes I'll get 40, 50%, but I'm cool with taking 10%. I'd rather make 10% on 10 different trades and win 8 out of 10 times or 9 times out of 10 than go to a margin, have probably only one trade for that day or two trades for that day, and then run the risk of losing as well. Because when you lose on margin, the losses are going to be magnified. And when the losses get magnified, you're going to be in debt. You could get what is called a margin call. I won't get into that. All that stuff is in the article that I'm going to list, but it could get really messy. All right. So long term, I think the cash account is more sustainable because one, it forces you to take smaller profits, but it gives you the benefit of multiple trades. And if you look at sustainability in terms of trading, the people who scalp are the people who have longevity in this game. Remember, I told you that. The people who scalp have longevity in this game. Those proprietary firms, they are scalpers. They're on smaller time frames and they are in and out. Never feel bad about taking profits. And if you feel like the stock is still going to go. You have the ability to leave runners. So overall, I just think, to me, the cash account, hands down, is a better account. If you agree with me or you disagree with me, you guys can let me know in the comment section below. But yeah, that's pretty much my take. Hands down, I'm rolling with the cash account, I would say 90% of the time. All right. But that's it for the video today, guys. I hope you found this information useful. If you did, please consider subscribing. I make new videos like this every day. Also, go ahead and like this video. Share this video with a family member or a friend who you think could find this information useful. And towards the end of the video, you will see cards pop up showcasing some of my most popular videos. I think one of my top trending videos now is my video that says, "Is dividend investing a scam?" So whether you're a dividend investor or you're considering going heavy on dividend investing, this is probably a video you want to watch. It just gives you my insight into it. All right. But that's it for the video again, guys. Y'all stay safe. Make some money in the market this week and have a blessed day. Peace.